This is about BernieCare. BernieCare is going to be this massive government takeover. 1/5 of the economy is healthcare, so he's going to nationalize 1/5 of the economy. I don't know if it's that big, but it is $3.5 trillion. They said it's going to cost $25 to $32 trillion over 10 years. Those estimates were figured out before Bernie added a long-term care provision. So, there's $32 trillion now, and that's what the Libertarian Mercatus and the Urban Institute, who the fuck, I don't know who these people are, but apparently one's liberal and one's conservative or libertarian. I've seen both labels used, and they are definitely different labels. So the estimates are figured out before Bernie added a long-term care provision. So it's going to cost $25 to $32 trillion. Now, they could be inflating it. The amount that the estate tax, hiking the marginal tax rate up to 70%, 7.5% payroll tax, and a 4% individual income tax. And then he also said put a fee on large financial institutions. So what fee, where is this fee going to come from? This is very vague language. And again, these are proposed ways to pay for it. So none of this is actually written in stone. But if you just took those proposed measures, we're only producing $16 trillion. Only, right? We're only getting $16 trillion. So $16 trillion. That, over 10 years, we could do something with $16 trillion. So we're not going to get this, perfect gold standard Bernie Sanders plan. Of course we're not. But when it comes to poker, he's got the 4 aces. He's got the strongest hand. Private insurance groups are going to have to beg in order to get to the table. You don't think that they're going to start operating and acting correctly if they got to beg to get to the negotiating table? Everybody else already makes sure that they have a seat. But, does labor have a seat? Does union have a seat? Does regular people have a seat at the table? No, just the damn wealthy, rich, goddamn corporate sons of low-life motherfuckers. So our current system costs $49 trillion, so there's something else, too. Okay, so we're generating $16 trillion with his proposed tax, $16 trillion over 10 years. So that should give us half of BernieCare for what they're, estimating that it's going to cost. But our current system costs $49 trillion. So if you don't do BernieCare, we're actually going to spend, $17 trillion more. $17 trillion on top of the $32 trillion. So $49 trillion, my God, we're talking in the trillions. It's so crazy. But our current system, which provides less care, is way more expensive. $49 trillion over 10 years versus $32 trillion. So we're saving a shit ton of money with BernieCare. We're saving, trillions of dollars. We're saving $17 trillion. So as a capitalist, as a socialist, overall system, do you want to pay overall, as a society, less on health care? Or just, individualistic, every man for himself? If you get good health care, if not, if they screw you over and don't have a good lawyer, what can you do? Gives a shit. Albert Einstein, Helen Keller, Eugene Debs, Martin Luther King Jr., these are all democratic socialists. There's a democratic socialist. There's a socialist president of Bolivia. He was democratically elected. All those Scandinavian countries are good examples of socialist/capitalist countries that have large welfare states, but they also maintain a market economy. So this BernieCare, I went ahead and told you the prices. I don't want people to be afraid of it. I think that the more information people learn about it, the better that they'll like it. Okay, so yeah, oh no, all these government programs and private insurance, everybody's going to lose their health care. Nobody's going to lose their health care. Medicaid, CHIP, Federal Employees Health and Benefits Program, TRICARE, ACA, Marketplaces, Obamacare is going to be repealed and replaced. So the Republicans should love BernieCare. We're repealing and replacing Obamacare. We're going to repeal and then replace. They didn't replace it. They said they got rid of the individual mandates, so therefore it's over. The ACA, the Obamacare marketplaces, the exchanges, we're going to wipe that out. That's like the main thing right there. So that repeals and replaces Obamacare. I'm sure the Republicans would love that. Wouldn't they love to hear that? I don't know. Okay, so Medicaid, CHIP, that 73 million Americans provide, are all in Medicaid and CHIP. That's going to be eliminated. That's going to save states in healthcare costs, but it's going to take healthcare power away from the states, give it to the federal government. So whatever innovations that the states are going to make in healthcare, they're going to, give it up to the federal government. So that's more power. The federal government's going to consolidate the power when it comes to healthcare. The Department of Veteran Affairs is going to remain intact. So the VA is still going to do their VA stuff. The way he's going to roll this out is over 4 years. He's going to lower the Medicare requirement age to 55 the second year, 45 third year, 35 fourth year. everybody's covered. So the first year also, everybody under 19 is going to get enrolled. Everybody over 55, everybody under 19. So that's the first year. Then second year is going to be dropped down 45 years of age and 35 years of age. So the third year I could sign up. And then the fourth year, if you're not covered, then everybody else could sign up. Your employers could buy a public plan for their employees during those years of transition. So that's, sort of the process. Now, it's going to take 4 years to phase in, right? Now, this thing is just so remarkable. It covers every goddamn thing that you could think of. Think of something medical, right? What you got, you need some glasses, it's going to pay for your vision care. You need a hearing aid, it's going to pay for that. You need dental care. Excuse me. So, all the services under the sun, you could go to any doctor, and you don't have to pay a deductible, copay, or premiums. You walk in, you get taken care of, you walk out. And that's it, right? So in order, the out-of-pocket expenses, they're making a good case. Essentially, they're saying, yeah, your taxes are going to get raised, but you're going to save so much money on health care and health insurance because you don't. Okay, so Medicare coverage. It expands Medicare to a bunch of stuff that now, today, Medicare doesn't have. So it's good that the current Medicare system is being destroyed for this brand new Medicare system because it's going to cover everything Medicare covered before and then some. You got medical devices, biologics, laboratory diagnostic services, reproductive, maternity, newborn care, pediatrics, short-term rehab, dental, vision, hearing, community and home-based long-term care. Community and home-based. So you can stay in a home, have long-term care in a home, or you can stay in your own home or in your family's home and then get a check. You get a check and then you could stay in your own home until you die. So newborn and long-term care, emergency services, primary, preventive care, you get checkups, inpatient, outpatient care, ambulance care, mental health, substance abuse treatment. Look at hospital stays, prescription drugs, medical devices, biologics, pediatrics, short-term rehab. So that's a lot of stuff. That's a lot of stuff that BernieCare is going to cover. 27 million Americans aren't even insured right now, and the industry is $3.5 trillion industry. So somebody's making a shit ton of money, but 27 million Americans they don't even have any coverage. So if they get AIDS, I guess the whole goddamn nation's going to get AIDS. So, I mean, what the hell, you can't, so you want people to be healthy and, have good diets. You want your society and your community to be healthy. There's so many STD outbreaks in these poor rural counties and towns where I guess everybody's fucking each other, and then, guess what? Everybody's got gonorrhea now. 56% of Americans want single-payer government system, 39% oppose it. That's a March 2019 poll. That number can only rise. That number can only get better and more as Bernie Sanders explains this program and himself, especially if he's the Democratic nominee. Now, 156 million Americans are going to be kicked off their private insurance. 73 million Americans are going to be kicked off their government insurance, but they're not getting kicked off. It's being phased in. And the way that it's universal health care. So all they're doing with Medicare, Joe Biden's like, he's going to destroy Medicare. He's overhauling Medicare. He's keeping Medicare in place, and he's adding so much stuff to it. So, none of these things are actually, nobody's losing their health care. Everybody gets health care. That's the whole fucking point. Universal health care, everybody gets health care. So if anybody is like, hey, you're going to lose all your private health care, yeah, you're going to lose your private health care. That's right. But you're going to get government health care, so you still have health care. And then for the other people that are losing, Medicaid and CHIP and TRICARE and ACA and repealing and replacing Obamacare might scare some of the, older folks, which is what Joe Biden is trying to do, just scare the old people, those poor old folks. So even though a lot of government programs and private insurance programs are getting shut down, they're all going to go to BernieCare. They're all going to go to one big health care. That's the whole point. Universal motherfucking health care. Man, I hate liars. So he's just using rhetoric, and he's just saying all of Medicare will be gone. No, it's called Medicare for All, the current Medicare system. It gets overhauled, and it gets changed substantially, but everything about Medicare stays the same, and it gets better. So just take the current Medicare system, put it into the new Medicare system, and then add long-term care, and eliminate deductibles and copays and premiums, and add prescription pills, and ambulance care, and dental and vision and hearing care. You can see any doctor, and you don't have to pay them. It's like, Jesus. This is, so much better for the American people. This is so much better. I can't believe that America has been in existence for 250 years, and even though all of Europe has said we want, universal health care, we don't listen to them. We don't take the best ideas out of the rest of the country. Health is life. So all that's been telling me is that America has not given a shit about the health of its people since its inception, since it began. And so there's only like 5% of the people that's not covered right now. But by putting this all on BernieCare, if we cut all the administrative costs, all the bureaucracy, there's all these different plans over here, over there, CHIP, Medicaid, Well, there's other ones here. TRICARE, ACA Marketplaces, Federal Employees Health Benefits Program. So federal employees get a different kind of health care than the rest of us. Well, that must be nice. Work for the federal government, get health care, right? But work for, Pizza Hut, and you don't get no coverage. If they do give you coverage, then you have to stay at Pizza Hut for the rest of your life. Just so you can, make sure you got some money for little Timmy when he goes to the emergency room for scraping his knee. So, yeah, that's the main points about Obamacare, or BernieCare. We're going to repeal and replace Obamacare. So we're actually going to get rid of Obamacare once and for all. Trump couldn't get rid of Obamacare. Bernie Sanders is going to get rid of Obamacare. And he's going to get rid of, everything. Everything. It's all going to go down. But he's going to get rid of private insurance. That's the big thing. And he's going to consolidate it into one thing. So that helps with overhead costs. It helps with the bureaucracy. You're streamlining this thing. It's more efficient. So to be cheaper. We're saving money all over the place. So this is Bernie Sanders' Medicare for All bill. It's Senate Bill 1129, Medicare for All Act of 2019. It's a single national health insurance program for all U.S. residents. And also Kirsten Gillibrand, Kamala Harris, Elizabeth Warren, and Cory Booker are all co-sponsors. So even though Bernie bros want to shit on Kamala and Elizabeth and Cory Booker, Kamala, Elizabeth, and Cory Booker and Kirsten Gillibrand all co-sponsored Bernie Sanders' Medicare for All bill, which is the Medicare for All Act 2019, Senate Bill number 1129, 1,129, 16 total co-sponsors so far, including 4 of the presidential hopefuls, in addition to Bernie Sanders himself. It's 100 pages long, so, it's pretty comprehensive. So Bernie Sanders knows, what he's doing. So let's just trust in Bernie. Let's just trust in Bernie and just get the BernieCare system up and running as soon as possible. And one last thing, Bernie bros, quit being such dicks. Bernie bros, you're such fucking pricks. You're such goddamn assholes. We're the angels of the revolution. So it's good that Bernie bros are just as passionate about Bernie as the Trump tards are. Just as the Trump, douches. So just as they are. But we are, fighting against bigotry, against racism, fighting against poverty, and fighting for solidarity. So it's a completely different fight. One's fighting for selfishness or so. I don't know what the hell their battle cry is. Building a wall. If you're in Maine, you get excited about Trump because he's building a wall. That's, yay, I got a wall in the opposite end of the country. How does that help you? They don't help you at all. So, Jesus Christ. Bernie bros, just quit being dicks to everybody. That's not going to be good. It's not a good look just to be dicks to everybody that doesn't adore and love Bernie and hate everybody else in the world. That's bad. That is so bad. If anything, Bernie bros, quit, idolizing Bernie Sanders and start talking to each other. We need to start talking to each other so we can build this local Bernie bro apparatus up. And we'll be ready to govern when Bernie Sanders is. I remember Obama got into office, he passed the stimulus plan, and he had all these programs that were out there if the program was shovel-ready. So if you had a grant proposal that was shovel-ready, everything was in line, you had the companies and the way it was going to do and the designs and this and that. You had the okays, the permits. If it was shovel-ready, if you had a plan that was ready, you submitted it, you got it. If you were ready. If you had a plan, if you were ready. So you have to have grant writers, and you got to go after every single one of those grants. In the county that I was in, I don't think anybody was paying attention. I don't think anybody applied for any grants. And so all that opportunity, all that money Obama just got in, he's trying to stimulate the economy. A lot of people that jumped on board, they got some really great shit, fiber optic internet. And so what did everybody else? And it had stuff for everything. It had stuff for a welcome center, for libraries, for just a ton of stuff. Just an absolute smorgasbord of things. So that's where we should be at. When Bernie Sanders gets into office, we need to explain essentially, what Medicare, his program is going to be and how it's going to be rolled out. So that way people's on the same page, they're ready, they sign up for the thing, and we actually get this thing up and running the way that America should be up and running. This is our second chance. We got a second pitch. Not everybody gets a second chance. Hillary, she ran 2 times, and she's like, basically the queen of all the losers. So, Bernie does it again. I don't know. I feel he's really old. So this is going to be his last chance. So this is our last chance to get Bernie Sanders. Who else is there? Noam Chomsky doesn't want to be president. So who's going to be, if we got together and we elected one person, who could actually fix this country better than Bernie? There's nobody else. Goddamn, the motherfucker had a whole life of just fighting the good fight, fighting the good fight. So if that's not good enough, that man has wasted his whole fucking life on you pricks, and you don't even give a shit. It's pretty disgusting and despicable if you ask me. So, you want to go ahead and shit on Kamala Harris? Kamala Harris sponsored Bernie Sanders' Medicare for All bill. So are you against the Medicare for All bill? You don't know what the hell you're saying? You just want everybody to hate? Bernie bros, you're showing your ass. You're showing your insecurity. You're scared of Elizabeth Warren and Kamala Harris. You think they're going to beat Bernie Sanders? You think more people are going to jump on Kamala and Elizabeth Warren train? I think we can win them over if we could say that Kamala is good on these things. Give them a praise sandwich. Kamala is good on this. She sucks on this. She's good on this. And then we can also say this is why we like our candidate. And then they'll tell us why they don't like it. And then we're in a whole other place. We're talking. We're learning. But if we're just like, Bernie's good, everyone else sucks. Fuck you. I don't even want you, I don't want to talk to you. Go vote for Bernie. But I don't like your ways. I don't like how you're doing it. And you're just you're a Trump tard, flipped around. So we're the angels of the revolution. So we are in a fight. And, for every punch, tit for tat, you got to punch back. But we're better. So just don't forget that. We're better. We're better than them. We're better than them because maybe we give the charity or something. I don't know. We help old women across the street. I don't know. But we're fucking better, and we're better because we're not such, just total fucking pricks. We know when to be a prick and when to just, chill the fuck out. Just chillax, bro. Just chillax, man. All we're doing is just talking here. Every time I say anything good about Kamala, people want to shit on me. What do you mean Kamala's progressive? Okay, you ready? Kamala's progressive. Kamala's progressive because Kamala's opposed to Trump's tax cuts. So she's not for these plutocratic tax cuts. She's opposed to his wall. Hillary was in favor of the wall. She was for the plutocrats. She was for the wars. Kamala Harris is opposed to the wars in Syria and Yemen and Iran. She's in favor of Bernie's free college. She's co-sponsored Bernie's free health care. She takes no corporate PAC money. So she's not being influenced by corporate PAC money. I guess she's just getting money from people like you and me. She didn't execute a man who killed a police officer in spite of public pressure to do so. So even though she's had, some problems with criminal justice, she's actually shown some courage too. So, a man killed a police officer. Public pressure said, you need to execute him. And she said, no, not going to do it. Kamala Harris is pro-Dreamers. So the DACA program, the Dreamers, they get to stay. Pro-choice, so she, is going to fight for the right for women to choose to have an abortion. She's pro-comprehensive immigration reform. Get immigrants a public lawyer, reunite the families. She's got these laws that's pending that she's introduced. She's passed an anti-lynching law, which is obvious, but still, who's going to say, no, that's a bad idea? Well, why did she pass? Lynching should be fine. No, clearly lynching is wrong. She sued ExxonMobil or investigated them. She won $25 billion from Wall Street, suing one of the companies after the 2008 crash. She's anti-TPP. She's in favor of gay marriage. She's also a co-sponsor of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's Green New Deal. The Green New Deal of AOC's includes universal health care, free college, guaranteed jobs, and universal basic income. Universal basic income, which solves poverty. So is she in favor of all those elements? Probably not. But she's a co-sponsor of the Green New Deal, so she's backed her name to it Whereas Tulsi Gabbard, where's Tulsi at? She was for it, and then she turned against it because of its vague language. So when it comes to the Green New Deal, Tulsi is opposed to it, and Kamala is in favor of it. Kamala's for legalizing marijuana. She's for ending the war on drugs. And the only people that concur with ending the war on drugs, several of them want to legalize marijuana, but only Tulsi Gabbard, Bernie Sanders, and Kamala Harris want to end Nixon's 1971 war on drugs in its entirety. And then she also wants to put body cameras on police officers. Now, some of those there at the end, she has flip-flopped on it. Her record says one thing, but her mouth and her rhetoric right now says something different. So I need for her to be gung-ho when it comes to legalizing marijuana, gung-ho when it comes to ending the war on drugs, and gung-ho when it comes to putting body cameras on police officers, because she wasn't for it after the Ferguson, Missouri riots. And then she threw all those people smoking marijuana in jail. She needs to apologize and try to get them free. And then she also enforced the war on drugs when she was the prosecutor and the attorney general. So is she just saying this shit? So, you know, there's some concerns that I have about her, but she's saying the right things. She's saying the right things now. So now it's just a matter of intensity. How serious is she? How sincere? And how much is she going to actually fight for this? Anybody could just say, yeah, I'm for legalizing it. Okay, are you going to fight for it? Are you going to do anything about it? Just your stupid fucking opinion? You thunk a thought, huh? Well, I'm glad you thunk a thought, but if you actually want to get some shit done, you got to, you know, put some planning into it. You can't just thunk a thought and think that's all you got to do. Thunk a thought, skunk a dunk, skunk a funk. Some funk skunk, funky skunky, I don't know. Okay, so some funky skunky, right? I got some funky skunky. So that's she's good on those things. Those are progressive things. Body cameras on police officers, legalizing marijuana, ending the war on drugs, sponsoring the Green New Deal. Kamala Harris is a good champion. She's a good fighter. She works on, you know, cooperation. She signed up for Bernie Sanders' Medicare for All Act. So she's, you know, co-sponsoring Bernie Sanders' thing. She's co-sponsoring the Green New Deal. She's a team player. So Kamala Harris there's just a lot of progressive planks to Kamala. There's a lot of issues, don't get me wrong, but you also got a lot of progressive planks. So I think she's about 50-50. 50-50. If you could show me your list and it has just, you know, infinite amount of complaints and it goes on and on and on, and it beats all my good things that I have about her, okay, then I'll change my opinion. But for right now, all those candidates I mentioned in the beginning, they are more progressive than neoliberal. Tulsi Gabbard, progressive. Kamala Harris, progressive. Pete Buttigieg, Jay Inslee, progressive. Cory Booker, progressive. Elizabeth Warren, Kamala, Kirsten Gillibrand might even be somewhat progressive. Not really. I don't know. Not Amy Klobuchar. Not John Delaney. Hickenlooper was progressive on police reform. He believed in civilian review boards, so the police had to answer to citizens. But that was like the only thing. He was anti-socialist, so his whole thing was just to run against the socialist, you know, candidate. Oh, you call yourself a socialist? He's a New Deal Democrat, you fucking prick. He's an FDR. We've already had an FDR president before. Who gives a shit what he calls himself? Democratic Socialist, a great fucking man, progressive. Hell, just call him a Republican. Would that help? Will you vote for him now? Just call him a Republican. He's for the Republic and for helping, you know, give the Republic health care. And he wants the Republic to have, you know, education to take care of their kids. You know, and also a guaranteed jobs program where it's a capitalist society. If you don't have a job, you die. So, you know, the government should kind of fill in that gap, right? What happens when the private market doesn't offer jobs? I guess we're all just got to make it up, right? Try to just, take our pennies, invest in some scheme to take the other peasants' pennies? Is that what we got to do now? So federal jobs guarantee that, you know, so he's going to be the one that saves capitalism, right? That's what the fuck's going to end up happening. This socialist is going to save capitalism because he saved America. Evo Morales is a socialist president. So there have been socialists who have been elected to president. Somebody said, Tucker said, it's never been enacted in the world. What, democratic socialist? Any socialist who's elected president, France's presidents, Italy's presidents, everyone that's been elected president, that's a democratic socialist. So there's been a lot of democratic socialists. Tucker, okay? Tucker. Fucking Tucker. Bernie Sanders once saved a woman from being hit by a car. I'll end it off on a joke. You know how an elephant, if an elephant's been in your, how you can tell, how you can tell if an elephant has been in your refrigerator? There's footsteps in the butter. All right. Okay, America.